Okay, now let's look at this question. Basically, using Pythagoras, you get OP2 equal to square root 3 plus square root 1, and then square root, you will get the length of OP1, which is 10. Okay, now, second one, now let's look at, it say that OP1, P2 is similar to OP2 to OP2, P3. Okay, so this is similar to this. Therefore, if you look at the angle, this 90, this also 90. Now, that means this angle, if this theta, this should be theta. And then this one is beta. Then this should be beta. For them to be similar. Okay, now, if they are similar, then we can use the scale factor to work out the progressive triangle, for example, like this one. Okay, now let's put in the figures. This 3, this is actually 1. Then this one is actually square root 10. Now, if you compare OP2, P3 with OP1, P2, let's take this length. So the scale factor, this triangle over this, I mean OP2. Remember, this only works if you prove that this is and the same corresponding length. OP2. Now, look at this. OP2, the corresponding length is OP1. Okay, so this over this gives you the scale factor. Okay, remember the sequence must be correct. OP2, then the other length should be OP1. Okay, so this gives you square root 10 over 3. Okay, now let's compare this length. Scale factor equal to P2, P3 over, okay, you look at here, P2, P3 is the corresponding length is P1, P2. So it's P1, P2. P1, P2. Okay, now since they are similar triangles, so I can use this and put over here. But before that, what are the numbers we know? P1, P2 we know is 1. So P2, P3, okay, over 1. But the scale factor here is square root 10 over 3. Okay, therefore P2, P3 over 1. So give you P2, P3 equal to square root 10 over 3. Okay? So this is the answer for B1. Okay? This B1. This okay, now let's look at B2. B2 is basically covering this length OP3. So using Pythagoras, OP3 square is actually equal to OP2 square with square root 10 square it plus P2 P3 square, which is this. So square root 10 over 3, you square it. So this give you a 10. This give you 10 over 9. Okay, now we put them together, making this the same denominator 9 plus 10 over 9. That will give you 100 over 9. Okay, now therefore OP3 equal to square root of 10 over 9, which give you 10 over 3. Okay, now so this is basically for B. Now so you can see that. Now let's compare. Wait, let's come to the next question. Looking for OP5. Okay, this is OP2, this is OP3. Okay, now if you take OP, now we are looking at C. Okay, the scale factor is this divided by this. Okay, OP3 is over OP2, so the scale factor, we have the scale factor here already. Okay, so we know that the scale factor is square root 10 over 3. Now, so from here, this length, for it to change to this, we use this scale factor. Okay, in other words, P3 over P2 and P1. Wait, have we found P1? P1 is 1. Sorry, there's a mistake here. Because here is asking for OP3 is this length. So let's use this with OP2. OP2, because the question look for OP5. Okay, now the scale factor is still remain the same. Okay, now this divided by this will give you the scale factor of square root over 3. That means right, 10 over 3. Now wait. So this is scale factor. Now this length over this length. This length here is square root 10. Then, this length, if you compare this over this, so this should be square root 10. Wait, now, for you to get this length, if you're given this over this will give you the scale factor. Okay? And the scale factor is square root 10 over 3. Then this over this, because they are similar, so the pattern follow this divided by this is square root 10 over 3. Then this divided by this is square root 10 over 3. The earlier one is square root 10 over 3. This divided is square root 10 over 3. Okay? Now, let's look at OP4. OP4 over OP3 will have the scale factor 10 square root 3. Okay? Now, So OP4 is equal to square root 10 over 3 times OP3. OP3 is actually 10 over OP3, put it over here, time 10 over 3. Okay, so it's 100 over 9, sorry, time 10 over 9, square root 10. Now, since these are all similar triangle, so then you take OP5, OP4, you will get the same scale factor. Therefore, OP5 is equal to square root 10 over 3 times OP4. OP4 is 10 over 9 times square root 10. So square root 10 times square root 10 becomes 10, and 10 is 100 over 27. So that is your OP5. Okay? Because you compare this versus this, is a similar triangle. So we managed to obtain the scale factor. Okay? Is square root 10 over 3. That means this length compared with this length, since they are the same corresponding length, so the ratio should be 10 square root 10 over 3. If you compare this versus this, the ratio will be 10 square root 3. Then if you compare this and this, the ratio will be 10 square root 10 over 3. Okay, so this is how we work out. If you look at OP4 and OP3, OP4, so you have the same scale factor. OP3 we have found out to be 10 over 3, so you just multiply 10 over 3 with a scale factor. This one, OP3 is this value. We're going to multiply up here. That will give you OP4. So it's 10 square root 10 over 9. Okay, now, next, OP5 over OP4, since they are similar, so they will maintain the same factor. So take a OP4, which is 10 over 9 times square root 10. So this square root 10 times square root 10 become 10. So 10 times this 10 becomes 100. So 9 times 3 is 27. Okay, so that is OP5. We can continue work on it. Okay, now let's go to the next question and see how this can be done. I mean the next part of the question.